And showtime! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the ChannelPro 5-Minute Roundup. A look at news, trends, and tips for the SMB channel in 5 minutes or thereabouts. My name is Rich Freeman. I am executive editor of the ChannelPro Network, also a host of this program. I am joined this and every week by your other co-host, Eric Simpson, a business transformation and improvement advisor for MSPs and other IT providers. Eric, how you doing?
Doing great, Rich. This has been a bit of a long week, so I'm happy that it's winding down. And you know what? It is the last week of January. Can you believe it? January is gone. It's crazy how fast we just blew through the first month.
I was
Amazing.
just going to say the exact same thing. You were talking about end of the week, but here we are suddenly at the end of the month. And it is a little funny to me how often I run into people who were, looking forward to the end of 2020 and are now like, okay, bring on February. I've had enough of January.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to erase the first month off my quarterly calendar board. I'm like, man, only 2 more months left. It's like things are going so fast. But enough of that stuff. Let's get into today's top story. What do you got for us, Rich?
All right. You know what? I've got there are a number of interesting stories in the news this week. The one we're going to be talking about here, though, comes from Huntress, security vendor, very well known for their detection and response products, all backed by some really deep security expertise. They had an interesting new product that they officially launched this week, or at least put into public beta, but essentially the same thing with Huntress. So when that company was formed, I was speaking with the CEO about this product some time back, and he said when they created the company a few years ago, he vowed they would never have an antivirus product because there are 75 other companies that already have antivirus products. He didn't want to be number 75. And he says about this new product that he has kept his vow because they didn't create their own antivirus product. What they introduced is a managed antivirus offering built on top of Microsoft Defender. So Microsoft Defender is Microsoft's antivirus product. It's a free component of the Windows 10 operating system. It has for those of us who are old enough, I would say a surprisingly good reputation among security experts. Those of us old enough to remember when Microsoft had a terrible reputation for security. This is a product that security experts seem to be very enthusiastic about. And what Huntress has done is create a managed version of it. So if you're using that with your clients today or are interested in doing that, you've got to use Microsoft's management console, which is single tenant. This, first and foremost, this gives you a multi-tenant, MSP-friendly management console for Microsoft Defender, so you can manage all of your customers in one place. In addition to that, the Huntress Threat Ops team is monitoring data from all the customers as well. And so if they see a configuration mistake, they see an issue that you may not have noticed, they will be in touch. They'll provide remediation advice and alert you to issues that you need to know about. So, an interesting product. Again, it's free, which has got to be appealing for end users and also for MSSPs. It frees up money that you and they theoretically can be spending elsewhere. And, it doesn't cost you as a Huntress partner anymore, either, because Huntress has a policy that's been in place for a while now, at least they implemented it sometime last year, that they will continue to expand the portfolio, add new capabilities as the security landscape changes without raising prices, so long as their margins remain healthy and there really haven't been any changes in their margins. So interesting new option for MSPs on the antivirus front, Eric.
Yeah, and I love that philosophy that Huntress is taking with its partners. Hey, as long as we're maintaining our margins, we will continue to innovate and develop and deliver to you solutions that can help you be more profitable and more relevant to your clients. So that's, who does that, right? So hats off to them for that. And, there's another angle to this as well. I mean, I know that a lot of MSPs probably have selected their antivirus du jour for their portfolio or whatnot, or maybe are using, just kind of a light version that comes with their RMM tool or something like that. And as you noted, Rich, Microsoft Defender is pretty high up there in terms of being recognized as one of the better antiviruses, and not always been that way, but they've worked hard to gain that reputation. So if you are using something higher, right, a higher level kind of antivirus than what you feel Defender delivers, maybe that's something that you can offer in some of your lower cost bundles or packages, or something you just layer along with what you already have, right? So, as you know, security is all about layering, right? So, I mean, you can't ever have too much security, right? And yeah, Defender has been probably stymied by, the need to manage it as a single tenant solution, i.e., I'm managing, the Defender for this one client. And now with this innovation, partners can be, can treat it as more of an MSP offering because it's a single pane of glass that they can manage multiple accounts. So, great news all the way around.
And following up a little bit on what you were talking about there, this system is designed to work alongside other antivirus systems. So it's not a kind of rip and replace scenario where if you decide I like the looks of this or I like Microsoft Defender, I've got to pull out antivirus systems that I already have in place out there. To your point, you can, and especially if you're a Huntress partner and you're not paying any extra for this anyway, you can layer this on top of the antivirus that your customers might already be using, and just get that additional layer of protection and some access to the threat ops team at Huntress.
Yeah, I mean, it provides flexibility that you didn't have before. So that's always a good thing.
So we're talking tools in a sense here, Eric, and I think that has something to do with your tip of the week.
Yes, Rich. And again, kind of rip from the headlines as I've been having some conversations with some of my partners this week. And, I had an interesting conversation with a few of them. And as a result of that, it spurred me to think, is this really what some partners are thinking? And so I jumped on social media and I jumped on some subreddits and started reading what partners are saying about their tools. And so my tip of the week was inspired by the question: are you receiving diminishing returns from your MSP tools? And one particular subreddit I was reading was really kind of going after a particular vendor in the space and basically saying, well, since the acquisition, they've stopped developing, and their customer service is this and that and the other thing. And really, I mean, it wasn't like bashing, right? Because it was very constructive. It was, they weren't trolling, but offering suggestions and offering, input. And some folks had a different experience and things like that. So, but enough of these types of discussions, I noticed online to think, well, what do you do when you feel that you are receiving diminishing returns from your tool set? And, what do you do about it? And I think, in the old days, it was kind of like, and especially when, the before four times, Rich, when you and I used to, do these segments together at events, when we were there with the attendees and the partners could have these hallway conversations and things like that to kind of compare notes. And, hey, are you getting the same value out of this? Or what do you do to overcome that? We haven't had that type of, opportunity because of the lockdown and the quarantines and no events and things like that. So where do you turn? And you know what? I'm going to say, look, kind of do what I did. Jump online, go into social media, just start searching and start jumping into some of these. And I think, Reddit, it sometimes I have to just like stop reading stuff because people are just very, very vicious, particularly on that platform for some reason. But when you can find a good constructive conversation, and there are good folks out there that are trying to build community and build that conversation. There's some really great Facebook groups out there that I belong to as well, that cater to MSPs and things like that. And when you're participating in these conversations, be respectful, right? Ask your questions respectfully. Don't, it's not a, we're not going, to war with these things, and you're not going to solve your problems by being negative Nancy in these forums, right? But what is, just the thought of what do I do now when I need that outreach? I need community. There's lots of great Facebook groups. There's lots of good subreddits, things like that, and expand. And hey, if you have peer groups and things like that, you probably already have some of that support. But for the rest of us that might not, you know, turn to these other alternative forms of communication. And again, take it with a grain of salt. If the conversation, is too negative and spicy for you, tune that out. It's just like switching a channel, and then look for something else that, that can help you make some decisions, whether you actually want to stay or, wow, so many people, and some people have a lot deeper insight into what's happening. Like, I've gone deep in some threads where people are like, look, I have, 18,000, service requests in for this one particular vendor, or emails that aren't getting returned. So maybe you haven't, gotten that type of response, but it kind of gives you an understanding of what some people are going through. Again, take it with a grain of salt, but, just some thoughts for this week to kind of look at what we're using, and does it still meet our needs?
Yeah, and that's the thing. And that's why I thought was really interesting about the way you framed this is that you weren't talking about what to do if your tools are bad, like they're just not good. You're not happy with it. You put it in terms of diminishing returns, which is to say
Yeah,
you're not as happy as you used to be or as happy
right.
as you'd like to be. And then the question becomes, would I be happier somewhere else? And that's the thing that is, it's a big decision. Obviously, if we're talking about the RMM tool, for example, it's not a small thing to swap RMMs. And so,
Yeah,
if you're not happy with the tool, but you're trying to decide, do I really want to go through the investment required to change tools? That's really when you can go out to those online forums and begin to get a sense. Again, keeping in mind that the people who are most vocal may not be the most reliable, etc. But start to get a sense for, are people, happier elsewhere? Is there a more satisfied client base for another tool in the same category as the one that is, giving me diminishing returns? Because that's really the decision that you have to make is, what will be the ROI on the investment required to change tools? If the returns are diminishing, can I compensate for that and have a better experience with enough ROI by switching?
right. I mean, when have you reached your threshold for pain? I mean, when is that? I mean, is it painful enough yet for you to look elsewhere? And the other thing that I picked up by doing this was I discovered like a handful of